we're excited today to be introducing you to this band of uplifters that we are. We're all wanting to guide you through amplifying each other's light to launch a paid offering. And in addition to that, so many other benefits. All of us have so much to offer. And I know that if you're here, you do as well. And maybe that's something you're yearning to do, is to bring your gifts forward to create a livelihood for yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is introduce you to the members of the team, who each of us have a special role. And during our presentations, we switch roles so that each of us get experience in the different areas. And, you know, if you're wanting to do presentations and you're part of the group, you'll also have an opportunity to share as well. And then after I introduce you, we're going to be doing I call it a multi-sensory arts moving meditation, just to ground and center ourselves. And then Kara, who I'll introduce first, she's actually spotlighted for me anyway. Kara is our visionary for this course, for this prototyping course. She's going to be teaching us today about the prototyping mindset, which has really changed so many things for me. It's so powerful, and I'm excited that she'll be presenting it. She'll also be presenting to us today why it's important for us to make that step forward in launching a paid offering. You know, even if it's not a high-end program, just once, you know, something that we're offering out into the world, and she'll explain all that to us. So Kara is a graphics artist and a facilitator. She's an integral part of the Hague Center, who is hosting our program. And when she speaks to you, she'll tell you a little bit more about herself. And then we have Nancy, if we could spotlight Nancy. Nancy is a nurse entrepreneur, and she assists and supports other nurses in coming into the full stewardship of their gifts. And Nancy is a beautiful spoken word poet and orator, and I could go on about every member of our team, but we only have a little bit of time. So as you get to know them, you'll see how amazing everyone is, and you'll get to display your own amazingness. We have Catherine Frazee, Reverend Alana Catherine Frazee, or Catherine Alana Frazee. Okay, let me take a breath. Who's here. She's helping with tech today, and she is an uplifter, a planetary healer for 30 years, and her mission is to raise the consciousness of love on our planet. And then we have Sasha's on our team, who will be joining us, and Marta as well. And we're going to each put just a little blurb about each of ourselves in the chat for you, and then provide a link that you can go and learn more about each of us, so that you'll know who's going to be facilitating you through the program. So, okay, so without any further ado, I will invite you into a deep grounding meditation. If you'd like to stand, I would invite you to do so. You can also do this from your chair or from your bed or from wherever you are. So if you just want to follow along to whatever extent you'd like to, I would just kind of rock back and forth on your feet for a moment, and then plant your feet firmly on the ground. Feel yourself like you're a tree, and your roots are coming out of the bottom of your feet, really bringing you down into the earth, to have that powerful Mother Earth energy enter into your body through the bottoms of your feet, and have them enter in and bring it up to your hips, and then just kind of wiggle your hips a little bit, letting that energy fill your body, your spinal cord. Just kind of give your hips a little swirl, and then hold them still, grounded, steady, still, with a strong sense of belongingness. And then bring that energy up your spinal cord and into your brain. And then if you just want to put your hands and give energy right to your brain, imagining your right and left brain hemisphere fully lit up and integrated, balancing your masculine and your feminine energies, your ability to be imaginative and creative, and your ability to manifest those creative dreams into the world through the masculine energy. And then bringing the energy up, opening the crown through mind, through soul, through our higher source, through creator energy, the power of love. Just breathing that in deeply and then bringing that back down from creator source, through higher source, through soul, through mind, back to the brain. And now with our eyes, just moving our eyes all the way up with our eyes closed, just stretching the muscles of our eyes up towards the heavens and then down deep into the earth, and then stretching our eye muscles up and down again, and then to each side, really feeling yourself stretch your eye muscles. And bringing that energy from the brain down into the heart, down into the hips, and back down into the earth. And as we continue to breathe from the earth up into the heavens and from the heavens down through our bodies back into the earth, having that beautiful exchange of energy. And if you'd like to, just sit down and with your hands either on your heart or in prayer position, I invite you to imagine a world where everyone is encouraged to embrace their true selves. To embrace their true selves and to share their gifts. When sharing our gifts with the world, and inviting you to be part of this community where we're creating this harmonious ecosystem of collaboration. Today being a very auspicious and special day, the 8th of August, it is a time where we can really anchor in and have strength in what we want to manifest. So as we experience this community, this unity, we uplift one another, we inspire innovation, we create endless possibilities, and we play in the field together. And in so doing, we create a community that really thrives, that really brings people into their passion, into their purpose, and into the joy of living with purpose. So bringing your attention back to the room, feeling very grounded, feeling solid, having let go of all the other distractions so that we can turn our attention to Kara, who so beautifully prepared for us a presentation on a prototyping mindset. Thank you, Kara.
Great. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. I really love that in that grounding meditation you brought the masculine and the feminine energies together, because that's kind of what we're doing today. So the last 2 workshops we've offered have been very feminine and visioning and artful, and then this one we're showcasing, well, what's the structure that's going to help us walk through this course. So our foundations and grounding are in the feminine, our visions in the feminine, and then the masculine is going to help us take those steps. And that's where this prototyping mindset really helps us put one foot in front of the other. So thanks, Lisa. Good. Yeah, so I'm really excited today to share this prototyping mindset with us in a workshop format. So the concepts are very quite simple. There's it's straightforward, but the juice is in the doing it, the valuing it, and the mindset shift that it creates by going with it. So here we go. Okay. All right, how's that looking from beginning? Great. All right, here we are. Amplify each other's light. This is the 3rd workshop in our series that's leading up to our big launch on October 3rd. And Susan's just coming. Hello, Susan. All right. So first, I just want to ground us a little bit in what do we mean by when we say prototyping, because it can mean different things to different professions in a sense. And then we'll check in together more what's bubbling on our minds. So what is it? It's a process. So I was an industrial designer. I had a dream to be a toy designer, and I ended up being a soap dispenser designer. And so we would take, which was also still very fun, and we would make we'd have an idea for a product we're trying to make. We'd draw pictures. We'd think about what the user might want, and then we'd start building little models of that, little things out of scrappy foam and cardboard and paper. And because then you would discover, you thought in your drawing the door would look like this, but then when you build it in 3 dimensions, oh, gravity doesn't work like that. I thought, I wasn't thinking, and then you have to fix it. So you see, you ground truth your ideas in reality in very simple ways. So then, and that helps you make a bunch of decisions on a product as it's developing, and then you go forward. And so it's this process of taking lots of little trial and error steps to get to the big complex solution. So that's what this image is about. It's more of this squiggly back and forth path on your way to getting to where you're going. So you can't just think it all through in your mind and create this perfect thing and then expect it to work. It's just not how reality comes into gravity. So when you take this more windy, sort of smaller back and forth road, it's more likely to get to success. And so in the product design world, I'd make models in 3 dimensions, and they would look all perfect on my screen, and then I'd have them printed out on little rapid prototypes, and then we'd find that, that button actually clashes with that one. I can't believe I missed that on my model. But good thing we didn't spend $10,000 cutting steel on that part. Good thing we made a $2,000 or like a $200 prototype. So it also reduces risk that way. But in the business world, and we're more in the context of what we're doing here, it's more about this feedback cycle. So it's like that bicycle trying to get you steer a little bit each way, and you're not trying to launch a whole rocket ship to the moon, because that's a way bigger chance of failure. And so in business processes, it's more about talking, getting feedback from your audience, and talking to people, and trying certain offerings, and trying again, and having business that fails, and then starting over, and that sort of thing. So then in the business world, they have a thing called the MVP, the simplest viable product. And so you say, what's the simplest thing we can make that doesn't have all the bells and whistles, just to get enough to market that someone will pay for it, and then we can go from there and build it what people actually want and actually want to pay for. But really what it is at its essence of what we're talking about with the prototyping mindset is this shifting from fear of failure to this continuous learning mindset. Say, that didn't work. Okay, what's next? Okay, that didn't work. Okay, what's next? So you're failing early and often so that you can keep going. And so it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, no one came, this broke. It's I'm a failure. Doesn't mean you take it away from being you, saying, this is the process of learning. Of course I'm failing a lot, because that's what we do to be successful. So it's that mindset shift can be the difference between giving up and quitting and saying, I guess I'm just a failure, no one showed up, versus, okay, there's some feedback, what's my next step? And that can be all the difference between you thriving or just or not. Okay, so let's talk to each other. So the workshop's going to have 4 steps. So the first step is pick a project that you're working on. We're going to do that step now. The second step is identify the next decision or decisions you need to make to gain clarity to move forward on that project. And then the third step is think of a prototype you can do to gain the clarity you need. And then the fourth step is to share and learn that together. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. We're going to do the first step. Pick a project you're working on. So ideally it's some offering that you're thinking about launching, or that's related to this course. But if you don't have something like that, then it'd be some other project in the 6-month time frame that you want to start achieving, and something that feels achievable to you. So it's not a magical thing. It's something you really want to work on and really want to do. So let's just take a few minutes, take a moment to think about that. And if you know already, I just want to hear from one or two people what project you're going to pick for this workshop. So you're picking it just for the purposes of this workshop, so that you can think about some prototyping ideas for it. So let's go to gallery view. Good. So who's feeling brave to go first?
I can jump in.
Hey.
Hi. So I do something called future weaving, and it's connecting anybody into an embodied imaginative journey and resonance experience of future possibility that they want to go to. And one of the areas that I'm just starting now to explore is with young people age 17 to 23. And I did one this summer with my son because he's transitioning, and I'm very interested in this age group that's transitioning from perhaps being in school or some phase of life and then going into their next development where they're going to be bringing more of their gifts, talents, and strengths into the world. And my understanding in the work that I do is it's important to have three journeys to anchor and ground this resonance so that it has a good impact of change on somebody's reality. So I'm curious in this prototyping workshop to explore which content oriented future possibilities those could be. So there you go.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Val. Where are you, Val, for everyone who doesn't know?
Oh, yes, I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Great. And you're pretty interested in joining the course here.
I am.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so anyone else want to go? So we're just sharing, the question is, it's also getting to know each other, but the question is, what project are you coming with to this, potentially joining this course, or to this, at least this prototyping workshop? Saying what, so for me, the one I'm bringing is my Adiwa course that I'd like to teach. So I'd like to put on an online course of 6 weeks or so to teach this spiritual practice that I practice. And so as we do this course, I'm going to be doing it myself for that course to put it on into practice. So I was just wondering if anyone else would like to share.
Hi, I'm Carmela from Greece. Cara's the only person in this group that I know. So, hello. Yeah. So I've just moved to Greece about 2.5 years ago. I spent the rest of my life before that in in South Africa. I was born in Durban and then lived 20 years in Johannesburg. So obviously being born in apartheid era South Africa, there was the struggle against racism where I was dealing with racial inequality and healing around those kinds of issues. And then when I moved up to Johannesburg, started working with survivors of sexual violence and healing from those kinds of traumatic experiences. And by profession, I'm a teacher. Well, that's what I went to school for. And but what I actually do for paid work at the moment is ghostwriting, but to the point of almost narrative therapeutics. And in the process of working with Cara through the Adiwa ceremonies, World Unity Week, and 99 Days of Peace, I've developed a new healing modality called Playful Inner World Peace, where we reconnect with the joy of our childhood not instead of, but alongside healing from the trauma. We remember that there was joy, that there was play, that there were all of these things that we've allowed to fall by the wayside. And I want to find a way to bring all of these experiences together into one thing that I can devote my energy to in a way that feels like it's more than just keeping a roof over my head and food on the table. I want to be able to thrive in the world while doing the work that I actually want to be doing. I don't want to be spending 6 hours a day trying to compromise my ethics with a client who doesn't value me, and then like try and squeeze in 2 hours of the happy stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Because
good, great.
it's 11:30 at night here, and this is when I'm giving myself time to do what actually brings me to life.
That's right. Yes, you're in the right place. So wonderful. Thanks for being here late and committing to that. Super. Okay. Thanks, Carmela. Good. We'll continue. So everyone hold it in your heart what your piece is, just so we can get through the workshop. Let other people share at different points throughout, so that we all get a chance. So I'm going to go back to my screen share and I'll say a few more points, and then we'll come to the next point in the workshop. Okay, here. Okay, I just want to tell a few little stories about why the prototyping mindset is important, which I've said a few things already. So it simplifies progress to small, simple steps. Decisions are made on real experiences and feedback. So we're in this course we wanted to do this workshop, for example. So last week we put the workshop on to ourselves to get to practice and get feedback from each other to improve it, to bring it to you this week. So just little, and then we said, oh wow, that technology worked. Oh yeah, that wasn't clear. And we got this real feedback from really doing it. And here we are doing it. So awesome, right? And it reduces risks and increases incomes sooner. So a big part of this course is that you've opened the door to money. So you say, yes, free offerings can be part of it, but the purpose of this course is to help you set up and generate some income. It doesn't have to be $1 million at first, just starting with the smallest amount that you're kind of comfortable with and that works for you and that you're able to achieve, even if it's just getting $20 for a workshop. And if that's the first $20 you've made doing what you love, then that's a huge success. And then that builds to 40, to 60, to 80, to 100, to 300. And that was my story as well with my graphic recording. My first graphic recording, I was just doing it with my friends in a network, and then someone said, oh, come along and I'll give you a book. And I said, oh, great. And so I didn't feel bad that it wasn't good, because I was just getting a book. I was just practicing. And the next one I just did for a charity of someone I know. I said, well, they paid $300 and it wasn't the most beautiful thing, but I did it, and I was building my skill and my practice and my portfolio, and then I built up and up to government clients who can pay a lot for one day. So that's how the business model rolls. And so that commitment to doing something paid, because often in these spiritual gifts, these artistic gifts, we want to give them for free because it feels so good, and it's hard to put it out there for money and maybe not, and maybe be rejected. So it's like just making it as simple and easy and small to open the door to let money flow in, and there we go. And then we shift from fear of failure to continuous learning, as we already said. Good. Yeah, so that's easy. Okay, so show that fear. Sometimes the fear just shows up as a resistance. I don't really feel like it. I'm not making time for it. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I need to do 5 more courses on it, but the message we want to get through here is like, when you'll be ready when you're doing it. As you're doing it, you will become ready. So you offer the workshop, write the piece. They say ship your work is one of those catchphrases. So you're continuously learning and continuously doing small, simple things that are fun and giving you energy and feedback, so you know what to do. Okay, so this is the second part of the workshop now. So we want to identify the next decisions you need to gain clarity on. So I just want to show you what some of those potential decisions are going to be. So when we're going through the course, we're going to have this template. This is a prototype of the template. So with the template will help you answer just the core questions. It'll have an order to it, but you'll kind of know, and then you'll kind of figure out the next one, and then that will help you figure out the next one, and that will help you figure out the next one. Then you'll sort of circle back and say, now I'm more clear on the who. So it's sort of it's a bit of an order and a bit of a circle. So you want to say, so the questions are that we need clarity on and to create a paid offering is who do I serve and why? So like what transformation will they experience that they're willing to pay for? So you have to, it helps if you can tune that down to what's their age and gender and profession or a certain life circumstance that they have. I know our friend Marta here is doing something for professionals in burnout. So it's a life circumstance and it's very nice and specific. So it helps people feel attracted, like, oh, that's me, that maybe that course is for me. And then help them imagine that shift from A to B. What's the shift that they're going to make from burnout to thriving? And from, for our course, like from sort of giving your gifts and not feeling valued or being invisible to thriving and having a career doing what you love. So then the next question is what is it that I'll offer? I have big ideas, I have big visions, I've got lots of gifts, but what can I offer that someone can pay for? What will I offer? What's the concept that we'll offer? So is it a product or a service? Is it online or in person? Is it a group or individual? Is it a course, coaching or consulting? So these are the decisions we have to get clear on. So maybe you're clear on some of them, maybe you're not. And then it's the more detailed level of how will I deliver the offering? Is it a 6-week course? Is it a masterclass? Is it a store? Am I going to launch it on this date? Like, what's the launch date? Is that a relevant question for you right now? And then how much will I charge? That's another question to get clarity on. So if you don't know any of them, that's okay. Just start at any one that you want and start and do some prototyping to get more clear. So this is time for you to decide, okay, if the project I just identified in the previous step, what's the next decision I'd like to gain clarity on? So let's just take a moment to think about that. Carmilla and Val have already gone. So Susan and Jinyun, I'm kind of looking at you. If you're feeling brave.
If Susan doesn't want to go, I'll give it a shot. So hi, I'm Jian. So I was really grateful for the questions and thinking, who do I serve and why? And I guess the raising consciousness is why. And really everyone is invited from an old worldview or paradigm to an emerging new but also ancient paradigm that includes the feminine divine through what I've developed as a curricula called Circle Consciousness. And Circle Consciousness bridges science, art, and religious form. So my background is in art and architecture, art history. So I was looking at forms or shapes and how they tell the story, but then also create a conceptual lens through which we view natural phenomena and one another. So I'm trying to shift the lens or that view through quantum mechanics as the smallest building blocks in the universe to this metamorphic shape-shifting that happens to resonate with patterns like mandalas and Sri Yantri. So I'll just stop. Thanks.
So you have a curriculum that you've developed?
Yes.
Okay. And you know who you're offering it to or in what kind of way?
Yeah, I've taught it to, so I taught it since 2007 to elementary school students because that's where my kids went to school. And I learned a lot from the experience of teaching students to younger students because they're more open, whereas the older people like, that's not possible, that's mysticism, or that's this or that's that. And then I just waited till 2020, and suddenly we had COVID and the world changed and quantum mechanics and quantum physics changed. And I said, no, actually all that mystical woo-woo is actually quantum physics. So biophysics. So I've just been trying to keep up with the discoveries around, DNA and cells and genes and all that, which is a lot of not out of my wheelhouse, but I'm pretty confident because I tested it out in a few places. So I think it's good.
Good. So are you looking for a way to bring that to like a bigger course, to a bigger audience?
Yeah. So I just today, happy 8/8 everybody, and thank you. I just had a synchronous thing where our old babysitter introduced me to a videographer, filmmaker, and he videotapes courses, like teaching courses in Asia, so and Brazil. So he just interviewed me for 2 hours, and he's going to come up with a little video thing, and I'll work with the video thing, I guess, to try to entice or invite, communicate, and then yeah, this is perfect. It's really synchronous how it's helping to make real that it's just grounding, right? Thickening, making more dense, being with you all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, let's all just hold that. Let's hold that energy of like of the big big conceptual ideas that raise consciousness and bringing them down into a way that's going to serve many people and that we're going to thrive as we do that. Yeah. Yeah, it's holding that together.
For everyone, and plants and animals, minerals, bacteria, fungi too. The whole of alive agent, like alive consciousness on Gaia, Panchamama, in all space-time dimensions, including dreams. Aho, aho, aho.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Good. So hopefully you'll be able to tune into one of the questions that you want to get more clarity on in the next section. I think you'll have it. I think you just had a lot to express, so I think it'll be just fine. Okay, great. So I'm going to continue, and then just so we can keep going with the workshop, and then we'll have the next more people share as we go. Here, how? Okay, so the how part. Okay, so what is this prototyping? How would we do it? What are some examples? So the process is pretty simple. 1 to 4 here. Identify a decision you need to make. So even that is quite powerful, because you're like, well, what's the linear-ish process that I'm going through to launch my offering, and then just getting clear on, okay, what decision is it that I actually need to make? That's actually a big step, and that's this course and the template that we're building. It will help you give you that structure. And then number 2 is think of a simple, even fun step that can help you get clarity and real life feedback and practice on that to help you make that decision. So for example, we're launching this Launch Your Offering, and doing these workshops with you is really fun and energizing, and preparing them together is fun and energizing, and like little challenges as well, but like overall it's just really great. And then we're getting this real life feedback of how it feels and how it goes, and building it and helping us build the content as well. So that's a good example of that. And then step 3 is do that simple task. First you think of it, then you have to actually do it. And that can be harder, easier said than done, right? Ask for feedback and receive the feedback with gratitude and openness. So that's easily said as well. Say, when we get feedback that says, like this could have been better, that can be hard to take, or you sort of bounce it back at them. Oh no, that wasn't what I meant, or blah, 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 blah. But it's like, well, thank you for that feedback, and just practicing letting it come in and not being afraid of the feedback itself. I know for me personally, when I don't think I've done a good job, I don't ask the client for feedback, because I don't want to hear the negative feedback that I assume is happening. Now, if I actually ask for the feedback, it's usually actually helps me feel better, because they say how much they loved it and enjoyed it. And if I say, oh, but what about that thing that went wrong? They said, oh, don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. For me, it felt huge. Like, I can't believe I said that or did that thing, So, so that process of it's a courage and a sort of maturing to be that, and a mindset that says, okay, feedback is my friend. Nobody showing up to my course today is feedback that something about the communication is off. Doesn't mean I'm bad or my thing isn't worthy in the world. It means I need to review what I did and do something more and different next time. And then 4, reflect on the feedback and make changes in the next iteration and trial. So here's some examples. So say you're on the who question, you could interview 3 people who seem to be in about your target audience now, probably people close to you or you work with, who would just like to have a nice conversation with you. Say, hey, I'm thinking about putting on this. This is what I want to do in the world. I'm thinking putting on this type of offering. I see you as someone who could benefit from this. What do you think it would benefit you? What do you think? What would really shift? What would you really like to shift in this? Or what is the pain point? What's difficult for you now? And do you think this offering could help you shift that into a new state or something like that? Those types of questions. And saying, and would you be willing to pay for that? How much would you be willing to pay for that? What would you be willing to pay for? So those kinds of questions with someone you trust and loves you, and they can be honest with you. And so we did that, and so there were 6 of us, so each of us really only did 2 or 3 because it takes energy and effort, but together we got a whole bunch of feedback, and you get slightly different feedback here and there, but overall it gave us some consensus about, okay, here's how we want to keep it simple, here's how we want to do the languaging. Some of us disagreed about which language was better, and the feedback showed us that a certain one worked, and that kind of thing. And then ask those people to refer you to 2 other people who might be interested in what you're thinking about offering, and interview some of them. So that it gets the energy kind of hopping, and it gets people interested in you, and you're actually building relationships at the same time. Or maybe you would make a survey to a network that you're in and ask them what kind of services would be most useful for them. So that's at the what question. You're like, well, I want to do a coaching monthly group session. Would that be useful to you? Or would you prefer an individual masterclass, or so you try and think of a few concepts that would work for you, and then ask people which one that would be most useful to them. And so I just bolded useful to them, because you want to give your gifts in a way that people are really getting a lot of value from, and that they are happy to pay you for that value, and you're happy to receive the money for giving that gift, so that it's a wonderful, enlivening exchange. So you could offer 3 workshops on 3 different ideas you have, and see which one gets the most interest and which one you enjoy the most. That's an important, that you enjoy the most, because that energy of enjoyment is going to keep you going, and it's going to come through in your work, and people are going to feel that joy, and that's very attractive to come and enjoy being with you, to get up to that joy that you have. So include a feedback survey with events, workshops, ask people what attracted them to attend. So because that attraction is going to be an important point, what words attracted them, what concepts and people attracted them, and that's what's going to make people stay. And then offer a beta course where you offer a lower price as you develop the course together. So those are just a few examples, that they're a little bit towards this kind of online course modality, but often with the spiritual and artistic arts and trying to thrive at them, that tends to be a little bit of the way that we can do that. So that's a lot of options, and just relating them to some of the different questions as well. So different questions would have sort of different options, but you can just think pretty logically. You're like, okay, who do I know? What could be simple and fun? How could I practice that? That could lead me to a next step? So just that kind of questioning in yourself. So here we are. So think of a prototype you can do to gain the clarity you need on the question that you thought of earlier. So for example, with my Adiwa workshop, I wanted to know the launch date and the pricing. And then as I asked myself this question in preparing for this workshop, I thought, oh yeah, I should talk to the people at Humanity's team and see what the process is and the pricing is and how they do it, and would there be a time when it would be best for them for me to launch it? Then that might help me make a bunch of decisions, because they have a channel of people who sign up for courses. So if I can connect with them, which I have a personal connection started, then if I could connect with that person individually, then that's easy and fun for me, and then would answer a lot of questions as well. So I'm like, hey, this process works. So sometimes it's just as simple as that. It's kind of a research question asking. Could even just be looking something up online, can often just get you an answer as well. Okay, so back to gallery view. How are we doing for time? 45 minutes, okay. So now we're planning to go into breakouts of 2, which we will do, and so that you can work on this together. So you can share together a little bit what the project is and what the question is, and then think through together, brainstorm together what those prototyping ideas could be. Okay, great. Welcome back. We made the agreement together that we would do these 1-hour workshops and we would stick to the time. So I hope we can stick to the time. Okay, so I'd love to hear from 1 or 2 people. I'm sorry the time was short. I tried to speak less. So let's hear some examples. Suzanne, go ahead, Val.
Yeah, just very quickly, I got a very clear answer about direction and confusion I had about 2 demographic groups, and I identified very clearly 2 opportunities to be able to test out each one and find the joyful vibe. So thank you very much.
Good. Can you tell me just what you would do?
Yes, well, I would be offering a future weaving workshop opportunity to try those journeys with a group of women. And then Danalia has offered me a possible connection to connect with her youth that are exploring her nature. And so I would try that and see which one had the highest frequency and get the next information step after that.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, go ahead, Catherine.
I can say something.
Yeah.
So I was in with Susan and I was telling her I would like to launch something regarding energy for people to understand energy and so they can connect, but also because I read her something from Sarah McCrum's book, Love Money, Money Loves You. And because money is the consciousness. And I realized that she realized like, oh, wow, I never thought of it this way, and probably a lot of people don't think of it that way because when I was younger, we were a working class family and it was always very never enough, never this, never that. And it's just really having a different mindset. And then today is Lionsgate and I was out and about. And of course I'm telling everybody like that I run into, I don't know anybody. And they're like, what's Lionsgate? And I'm explaining all this energy stuff there. And it was like, everybody's going, oh my God. And I also was they're like, I go, it's great. You're just gonna love it. And then I was also telling some other people about the energy. And this one guy, he was younger. He went, do you mean your third eye? And I go, yeah, but do you know about chakras? He goes, no. And I go, well, you have more than just, the
so
third
you're like,
eye,
people want to know.
But I got clarity on the fact that maybe for me, I'm wanting to be in 5th dimension and teach people everything about that. But maybe the universe might be telling me the younger people coming up that don't know these things, because I have a lot of modalities that I could teach people, but maybe I have to start with just the chakra system,
Simple. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you. That was great getting some clarity today. Thank you so much.
Okay. Suzanne.
Well, so I was speaking with Catherine that I have so many things that I could teach and modalities that I know. And she told me, I'm not sure what project I should work on right now, but she told me to go into my heart center and figure out what is my real passion right now. So that was a really good advice for me because I just recently retired from a corporate job. And so, I have been doing healing work with people, I'm the therapist, the neurolinguistic programmer, et cetera, et cetera. And I have been teaching little by little, but, not in a big way. And also thinking about in a bigger way, I haven't had a chance to really think about that yet. So it's nice to be with all of you to start thinking about that. So I thank you.
Great. So getting clarity on the concept right now is where you're at. So that's great. That's a great place to be. And I love that. I love that advice by Catherine, because that can almost kind of a form of prototyping as going inside and getting those deeper answers that there's all you're thinking about here, but then there's kind of this deeper knowing that you actually have to go and interview yourself and do that process. And it's nice if someone's holding you in that space. It makes a big difference. we also would do, in our group, we would kind of interview our future self and have that person sort of speak to us from the future. And I remember getting really beautiful answers from that I don't think I would have thought of with just journaling. And so we'll do some of these practices as we go. So, and hold the space for each other. So, okay, so that's the end of our prototyping workshop. If you can stay with us for 5 more minutes, or just Nancy wants to show you a little bit about the course real quickly, and then we'll stay on longer. We'll finish, and then we'll stay on for any questions people have about registering for the course in October. We can show the website a bit more. Nancy, are you ready to share?
Yeah, and also it was my task and my honor to do some deep listening during today's conversation. And so a couple of things really hit me. What was really a strong theme was how many people really wanted to go to work with youth. That came up a lot. So I feel like there's kind of a commonality that a lot of us are getting a sense of, that we are the teachers that we've been waiting for, and that, our students are showing up for us. And the other great words that came up were wondering, emerging, healing, joy, play, and really, like, how do we bring life and love to what we're doing? So I love that that's really kind of what was a big part of our conversation. So Lisa, can you just share the screen? I'm just going to quick like a bunny run through the course so that people have a chance to see. So I know several of you have been on these calls before, so it's just a review. And I'm actually just going to review the course from the point of view of myself. I have been wanting to launch some kind of paid offering for a very long time. So maybe you can relate to that. It feels like a lot of us here are of a certain age and have a big, long background in something else. I was a nurse for 33 years, and I'd really love to bring something to the world, kind of like what Carmela said, what brings me life and how do I get paid for doing something I really love? So this, the way the course is outlined, I just want to talk about how it speaks to me. I know the first month, I'll go ahead and talk minus the slides. The first month
excuse me, Nancy, I'm sorry. I'm definitely having a technical.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The first month is getting to know each other. So we're going to really do this in community. And that's very important to me, to get that level of support. There'll be a lot of opportunity to kind of work with one another. The 6 of us who are holding the space for this are thinking about other opportunities where we can meet. So it's not just the teaching course, it's not just the teaching time, which will be once a month, and the group coaching, which will be once a month, but all of the ways in between that we can stay connected and support each other and learn from each other. So, and then, we're going to continue to talk about money. We're actually going to do some calls around that. We're going to continue to talk about prototyping. Month 2 is just, for me, I like many of you, I saw, Val wrote, do I work with women? Do I work with kids? I know I want to work with nurses, but I feel like I really want to work with nurse managers, nurse leaders, like defining the audience and really kind of completing that template, like having instruction, which is something I really need. Like, I need the black and white. How am I going to do this? Month 3, you can go ahead to month 3. Month 3 is reaching your audience. Again, I love that what's highlighted here is fun, making this really fun, making it creative, learning how to use our voice. That came up a lot today in our shares. How do we say what we really want to say? Creating an online presence. How are we able to ask for money? How are we able to step into our value? That's something that's really, like, I see that as like, who's my audience, and how am I there to use my gifts so that I'm valued and can get the value I deserve, and get the value that I feel I deserve to offer you what it is I want to bring to you. What's the next one? And then it looks like registration page, month 4, getting the clients, making the offering, and then month 5, the launch. And I'm excited for this. I feel really nervous about this. I really haven't done a lot of this work myself because I've been very resistant myself. I love supporting others, but I'm going to need your support for me to step into my launch as well. Lots of coaching. And then, of course, month 6 is the reflections on how we've done and celebrating, which I'm learning now. Celebration is key to continued momentum. If you can't celebrate the little steps, it's very hard to move forward. So, we're definitely going to support that process. And I want to say registration is open, right, Kara? There's a way to go ahead and do that. And there'll be more information. I'm saying this, and I just need a nod from the people that are more technologically savvy than I am. Good, there it is. Okay, the cost is €600. And there'll be more information on the website, correct? If people have questions, they can stay right now. And also the website will be enhanced as more things develop. I'm assuming that that's true, correct, Lisa and Kara?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you can always reach out to any of us. I think many of us, many of you know at least one person, but you're free to contact any of us for any questions or any connection that you need, any support that you need.
Yeah, there's one little thing awkward there in the registered. You fill in your name and email and hit register, and it says thanks, you've registered, and then you're still there, and then you have to go and click the yellow pay button. So I'm just working on that to get it to flow a little better. So it's just there's 2 steps. So, but we'll follow up with you if you don't pay.
And if you have any difficulty paying or signing up, just reach out to us, because we're prototyping this as well. And there's a big learning curve here for all of us. And it's just so exciting.
Thanks for staying the 5 minutes over.
Can I ask a question? Are we in the Q&A section? So my immediate question is, what are the networks to which you all would be? So in other words, if I have something and I'm ready to launch it and go with it, someone said, oh, I'm going to try it out on
Humanities team.
Yeah. So is that part of what happens in the coursework? Do we get, mentored to sort of land the launch sites with people? I think the thing that for me intrigues me the most is that you'll have the Hague Center, and that's a known entity. And when you're working with unknown, outside of our local or our networks, our community, it's really challenging to build up that credibility. That takes time and effort and work. And I just worked on my resume. I'm just applying for things right now. And I realized all of us have so much. And then, but this is so nascent, everything we're doing. So working with the network that's already established-ish in this nascent realm feels like that would be worth the €600. And otherwise, that's just sort of a very practical question on my part. Sorry if that's inappropriate.
Perfect question. Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead with that one, Nancy, or did you have something? Yeah. So it was a very conscious decision of us to host this within the Hague Center, and I'm a core team of the Hague Center, and we do a program every year called World Unity Week, and there's a whole community around that, and it's these types of people, these evolutionary leaders, these people getting together and saying, how do we change the world together, getting to know each other, becoming friends. And then we're meeting weekly. Carmilla and I meet every Thursday morning as part of that space that's just held we're holding for each other to say, like, what's our next step? And then we're becoming friends. And then I'm offering something, and Camilla says, I want to come to your program. I want to help you build it. And I go, oh, that's wonderful. Because we're just, so that space is definitely held there. And Anne-Marie is quite a special, Anne-Marie Voorhoeven is the founder of the Hague Center, and her real gift is this mesh weaving with all these evolutionary leaders all around the world. And she has a really beautiful way of saying, like, oh, what do you need? Oh, in connection with that person? Oh, sure, yeah, here you go. I'm not promising everyone the perfect connection or anything, but we are well connected with the Humanities team and the Shift Network. and this World Unity Week, which is part of Purpose Earth and the Sign Network. And the Sign Network does these things where you have to join them separately and pay to be a Sign member, but they do these things where you go live on Facebook, and then they make that go live out on 100 other sites at the same time. So then you kind of expand your visibility in a kind of magical way with this spiritual sort of group of audience. So yeah, so I'd say that's part of it. It's not, we haven't actually talked about that as part of the value very much, but I'm just becoming a bit clearer by talking about it as well. And it's not like a promise, like you will have direct access to this network, but it's like those possibilities and connections are there. Yeah.
Well, I really feel inspired right now. I love being in community with other women and hearing what everyone is bringing forward, and it just feels exciting, that we're putting our talents and really creating an uplift for one another.
Okay, let's flourish together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye
See you
now.
again. I think we're going to do the next one, and next month will be about nervous system support.
Nervous system. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
It's a great day.